final contestant for Area 36, Larry Castleberry. Larry Castleberry, Deafening Sound of Silence. Deafening Sound of Silence, Larry Castleberry.
I recently came across a story written by C.S. Lewis called The Screwtape Letters. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, the story is about two demons who are tasked with winning the soul of a certain individual. Now, the younger demon, Screwtape, comes up with all these great ideas of how he's going to capture this person's soul. But the older demon says, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to stick with the simple plan. And that plan is we're going to create so much noise that he can no longer hear the voice of God. Thought about that. Noise. What is noise? Well, when you look it up in a dictionary, it is defined as any noise or sound that prevents the listener from hearing what they want to hear. But if you take that a step further, noise can also be defined as anything that distracts us from what's important in our lives. Now, Desiree gave a wonderful speech about those wonderful cell phones. But as my wife will say, that's a big distraction when we're at dinner and I'm texting or checking my emails. It takes me away from family time, precious time. You see, noise has us looking at the world through the lens of our ego. And we see the world how we want it to be or how we think it should be as opposed to how it really is. So how do we learn to filter out the noise and see the world as it is? We learn to do this by listening to the deafening sound of silence. You see, when we take the time to be silent, we step back and we see the bigger picture. We see the world as it is. We are no longer paralyzed by the dream of rapid eye movement, but we have the ability to move and act because we can clearly see. And how do we develop the ability to hear the deafening sound of silence? 3 ways. 3 ways that we can learn to develop this skill. First, take the time to be quiet. Find time in your day to set aside and just be quiet. It can be at home or that drive into work, where you just have that time to yourself just to reflect and listen and filter out all that noise. The second way is learn to control your thoughts. Now, I don't know about any of you, but my #1 creator of noise is my overactive imagination. At church on Sundays, when Father Robinson is giving the homily, I'm thinking about Calvin Johnson running into the end zone with that football, scoring a touchdown. But that overactive imagination of me going, "Go, Calvin, go," is distracting me from listening to the message of the homily. What is Father Robinson telling us? I'm supposed to be there listening to the gospel, but I'm not paying attention because I'm more interested at that time of what is Calvin going to do that day. And the third way that we learn to listen to the deafening sound of silence is just that. We learn to listen, actively listen. Now, we have a family friend, and his wife is going through some tough times. She just lost both her parents. Her brother has been diagnosed with cancer. And as he likes to say, "Oh, my wife is fussy." Every little thing I do is wrong. But when his wife is getting on him, he wisely stays quiet. It is not because he's a well-trained husband, but it's because he's listening to what she's really saying. He can hear the real words that she's saying behind her complaining. I'm in pain. I'm hurting. I'm scared. And because he is actively listening and not allowing his ego to get in the way, he is able to help her. So, my fellow Toastmasters, friends, family, and guests, yes, there is noise in our life. Noise that distracts us from the important things in our life. Now, how can we combat this noise? We can combat this noise by learning to listen to the deafening sound of silence. And we develop the ability to do this by first setting aside time to just be quiet. Learning to control our thoughts and learning to actively listen. So I ask each of you, my fellow Toastmasters, take the time to filter out that noise in your life. Take off your glasses of seeing the world how you want it to be. Step back and embraced in the sound of silence, see the world as it really is. Madam Toastmaster.